Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So today we are going to cover objects, standard objects in it, and custom objects, then fields. What are the data types that you can create in that object, whether it's a custom or standard one, and custom metadata object. Okay, and we will look into that in detail. So we have seen in last session that how to navigate to the objects, right? So can anyone tell me, like, on this page, how can I navigate to list of objects? You guys have must have seen yesterday or day
Yeah,
before yesterday. Yeah.
using object manager.
Yes. Yeah. So here, correct. We can
Yeah.
see all the objects that are present in this org, right? And here you can see the API name, which is unique per object, so that it can be uniquely identified once you try to access via code or via database queries. Okay. Then it's a type. It shows you like whether it's a standard or custom one. So for example,
अरे
if
ज्वाइन
I
करना.
click here on the right side on
हाँ.
create and I click on custom object, it once it is created, it will show me as a custom object. Okay, then you can add description, and these are some standard fields who shows who last modified it, right? So I'll just go via app to the tabs. So how can I navigate to the app, any app in this org? Anyone? Hello? Any idea? How can I
Go to
navigate to
the
any app?
top left app menu,
Yes.
app launcher.
Yeah. So I can choose anything to go to accounts tab, but I'll choose service for now. Sorry. Yeah. So we are now in this service app. So if I click on this tab accounts, this is nothing but an object, right? And these are the list views where I can go to all accounts. I'll open one of it and we will see. Yeah. So here, these are the some of the fields. Those are just arranged in different way, but in the database they are simply columns, right? And this is the details tab here where you can arrange as per your need, or like you can create different sections. For example, first one would be the account info, next one would be the address info, right? We will see how to design this page layout, but for now we are just looking at the fields, right, and the object. Right now, here first one is, you can see, is account owner. That means who has created this account. Then there is a field rating. If you click on this pencil here, pencil button, it will go in edit mode, right? And you can select, it's a drop down, right? So this is one of the field called as pick list, and you can add how many entries you want to add, how many number of fields, or the number of fields that pick list have. It also can be changed, right? Also there is different type of field, that is lookup field. That means it is useful to create a relationship between two objects. Okay, we will see that in detail, we have separate session for that, but I'm just showing how many types of fields are there. Like for here, uh this is a integer field, right, a number field. Then this text field, but it has a different size, right? It has bigger size than other fields, right? Here you can see you cannot increase, or like cannot increase the box, right? So based on that also you can identify it as a different type of field. Okay, so we have seen the layout, right, and the fields. Now I'll go back to the setup menu and we will see. I'll create one custom field in the account object, and then we will come back here and see on this page where how it looks like, right? Okay, I'll go to the object manager, click on account. Yeah, here you will see different options, right? The fields and relationships, that's what we are looking for now to create a new field. But before that, these details, It shows you the properties of this object. So the first one is a API name, right? Then the singular label, plural label, we will see while creation, right? Here, if it is enabled for the reports, or it is enabled for the to track the activities and all, right? So let's create a new custom field on the account object. Now on the top you will see new, deleted fields, field dependencies, set history tracking. So to create a new field, we'll have to click on new. Yeah, so we are on a page where it shows different types, data types available. Like with this information, like with these options, you can create different types of fields. So for example, I'm going to create a text field first, right? And here you will see the description, what type of field it is. For example, this allows you to enter the combination of letters and numbers. That means a alphanumeric text field. If it's a text area, then the size would increase for that, like 255 characters. If it's a long, then it is much more than that. The same way, the text area reach. That means if you want to, if you want to enter a lot of information like address details or more than that, then you can go ahead with this option. Also, if you want to hide the information, right? So you want to encrypt it, then it is out of the box available already. It's an encrypted field. It will not be visible on the UI. It will look like the way we enter the password field, right, in the password. So it looks like that. Okay, let's go ahead and create one, and we will see. Yeah, so the field label I'll enter for now is um, okay, for now test field one. Okay, or for example nickname. So if I click on tab, directly the field name appears, right? So that means it is a UI API name which is unique, right? And the length I want to enter is 255 characters. Okay, or you can change it, like for example it's a nickname, so it could not be much more, so we'll keep it as a 50 for now. Then you can enter description. This is a nickname of the user. Then the help text. Yeah, I'll just enter users nickname. Yeah, then there is attribute required. That means on the form, on the account form, whenever you click on the required here, that field becomes mandatory, right? So without entering that value in this field, you cannot save the record. That's what the required is. Okay. Then the next unique, okay, which do not allows the duplicate. It checks by default if other record enters the same information in the nickname field. The third one is external ID, which is basically used when a third party system is identifying your database with this field. For example, this field is something, some external ID or some unique ID, right? So for any third party system, while doing the integrations, if they want to identify your database record, then this field will be used. For now, it is not very relevant, but I'm just telling you
Yeah,
the
so this
information.
this might be relevant to Malay, right? So Malay, if suppose you have a database and you have some object, say invoice numbers, and in your Oracle there is some unique IDs, right? Now, if you want to migrate that data into Salesforce from your Oracle system into Salesforce system, that time you can use the external ID to maintain that earlier unique ID that you have or primary ID you have. So maybe we'll touch base those things whenever it is applicable when we learn about integration or data migration. But just for your reference, external ID is similar to what we call it as a primary ID or ID field.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one is uh, once this checkbox is checked, this field becomes available for the reports. So if there are millions of records, right, and you want to build a report which is available out of the box in Salesforce, we will see that in detail in next sections. But so if that checkbox is checked, it becomes available to the report types. Okay. And the last one is default value, where you can provide some default value if it is not entered by the user. Also, you can add some formula field here, like formulas here based on like some functions available. Also, the related objects, for example, it's a user, right, who is going to create this record, right? So that user's attributes becomes available here, like the name, email, address, and all information. But we will see that also in detail in later sections, sessions. uh, okay, so I'll just click on the next. Now this uh, window shows us on which profiles this field should be visible, right? So here the first column shows the field security for profiles. So these are all profiles available in this org, and the profile that my user has right now is system admin. So I should be concerned about for now is like whether once I create the field, whether I'll have access to it or not. So the first column here is visible, yeah. So it is checked. So I will have the access. So you can go here and just remove for all the profiles and just click for the system admin. So now it is visible only to system admin. But there are certain requirements, like for example, client asks you to, for certain profiles, not the system admin field should be visible and should be hidden from other users. So in that case, for example, this partner app subscription user profile is the one that client is looking for. So you just need to click on this one and that's it. But it should not be visible or read only to other profiles. Yeah, this is one of the way you can hide in your information. Yeah. So yeah, I'll click on the next. Yeah, now these are the layouts, four layouts of account available. Like this one, the page that you are looking, right? It's one of the layout of that four, out of these four. For now, I'll just enable for all of them and click on save. But at the same time, like if you want to create multiple fields, so you can go ahead with this save and new. Okay, I'll click on save. Yeah, so if I want to search it, you can directly type in here nickname, right? Now this one, right, this, if you can see, like this double underscore c has been appended to this field name by default. We did not enter it, right, while creation. So this is the unique API name of this field. And throughout this org, for this object, this for this specific object, this you cannot enter another field with the same API name. So that's how the uniqueness is maintained, or to access it via code or any other component. Okay, I'll go back. Let's see on the page where it has appearing. Click on details. No, it's not appearing here.
You created in the account tab, na, Shashikant?
Yes.
You, you check in a service tab, I guess.
No, that is an app. We are creating account. Sorry, an object. Sorry, an field in account object,
Yes.
and I'm on account record page. So within that app, we are on accounts tab.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just cancel it. And I'll show you here how to navigate to the page layout and then how you can add that field to the page layout. So click on this gear icon, click on edit page. Yeah. So if I click on here, So here you can see assign page layouts. In this section, which layout has been previewed here? It's a account layout. Right click on it, click on open in new tab, or else you can go via this page also, like from object manager, open account object, click on it and click here for the page layouts. Here you will see all those page layouts that we seen in while creation, right? And the layout that we are looking at right now is account layout. If I open it, it will redirect to the same page that we opened from here, this account layout. Yeah, so this is how it will look like. And here are the list of fields. Right here, if I click on fields, it will show all the fields that are available in this Caracas account object. And if I search for the nickname, here it is, right? And the nickname is available here. Oh, it's already on the layout. Okay. Yeah, it is appearing here. Yes. Okay. So nickname is already there. If I click on it, it redirects me to here, right here. For example, if I want to add something else, for example, the clean status, right? So what I'll do, I'll just click on it, just drag and drop here. Under the SIC code, the clean status should appear. Once this is done, click on save. Yeah, go back to the page. It's not visible here.
Yeah, Shashikan, you can check it after some time. Sometimes it takes time. Since this is a development environment,
hmm Because I can see
or
that on
try
the
to do a
layout.
hard reload. The field is already there
Yeah,
on the layout. Yeah.
yeah, maybe some cache issue. No, I don't know. Okay, there is another way with which I'll take
Yeah.
that.
Try adding another field quickly. Meanwhile, I'll take up some questions. So, anyone has any questions on this? Are you clear with what is object and what are the fields? So, you all must have some or the other time seen the Excel sheet, right? So, if you have worked with Excel, if you are storing some data in the Excel, the sheet name is nothing but your object, right? And whatever details you are storing on that Excel is kind of the data you are storing. So, any object. And when we talk about the fields, object is nothing but entity, and the fields are nothing but its attribute, right? If I say a shirt, right, for a simple example, shirt is my object, and the attributes can be what type of shirt it is, what is its cost, what is its color, right? So if you imagine any entity around you, consider everything as an object, and whatever properties it has, those are nothing but the fields. So that way it will be very easy to relate like what are the fields. And then when we speak about fields, we can imagine or we can come to know, okay, suppose if I say a weight, it should be stored in number with decimals, right? If I talk about heights, it again comes in number with decimals. If I talk about email id, it should be of type email. It should have some certain pattern. So that's how you can think through about the attributes, that we call it as the fields here.
Yeah, but so
It's not
I don't
appearing.
know how, but
Now this is
yeah, the
coming, right?
nickname is appearing.
So it is
Nickname is
taking time.
appearing, but the field that I created just now, it is not appearing. But after that, a nickname has started to appear.
So that's fine. So
So
what I am trying to say is sometimes this take a delay, right? Since this is
yeah,
a free environment, so don't fight with the system, just try to give it some time and then come back. If you are doing the right things, it will appear, but it will take some time in worst case scenarios, right? Yeah, go ahead.
yes. Okay, so the nickname has appeared. I click on edit. So this is nothing but an edit option. You can go to each field and click on edit instead of going uh, and type in here, like select here and click on edit, right? Instead of that, it is very handy. You can click here, edit. I'll just type Genie, Genie point, and the nickname is Genie. So if I click on save, yeah, it's simple. The field has been updated in the database for this, right? There is one more thing that we added on the accounts, that field, this nickname, the help text, right? So the user's nickname. So for example, there are certain fields like accounts, like while login, or if the field should be descriptive, right? So if any user who do not have any knowledge about this, all this stuff setup and everything, so he just want to some descriptive information about that field, so right. So for that, this is already given, the help text for that field. User, the clients may ask for this. It's a very common requirement. So just to let you know, like, you should be aware of these things. Yeah. So yeah, so we have created a new field. We have gone through all of that. Now I'll just make it as a required field, right? For now, if I delete this information and click on save, it allows me to save it, right? But if I make it required here, and I'll just save it, and if I go here, I click on this account name edit button, I'll change it here, like for example Genie point one, but I'm not entering anything here. And if I click on save, it should throw an error, right? Yeah. So require fields are missing. So this is a standard error, but if I enter some info, it will allow me to save. So this way you can make any field required on the object level, right? Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far on this creation or field creation or understanding the object structure? Any doubt?
So, yeah. Can we hide standard field as well on the layout?
Yeah, sure. You just go to the layout and remove it from the layout. That's it. For example, let's do that as well. For example,
Malay, like we can hide any field as long as that field is not mandatory, right? It's not required. If it is required, then you cannot hide, because without that you cannot create record.
Okay. In case of standard fields, right? We cannot make them, means we cannot, let's say, edit and make it not
No,
required.
no, we cannot modify the standard fields.
Okay.
so I'm removing rating here. Okay, I removed it. I'll click on save. I hope it appears immediately. No, it is taking some time, but yeah, it has been removed from the layout. You can do that. Maybe some after some time it will appear. We'll see that. Apart from this, any question, Malay, or anyone else? No. Okay. Um. Now, this. we have seen how we can see the object on the app, right? The service app, the tabs, this is an object. In the setup menu, we can directly go to the setup, right here, object manager, and search for any object. There is another way with which you can go and see the object and the relationships between two objects. For that, you just need to search for the schema builder here under objects and fields. Schema builder is there. Click on it. It will give you some graphical overview of your object and the fields in it, the relationship between them. Right. For now, all the objects have been selected. I'll just remove all of them and click on only account. Right here. Okay. Activity. Yes. So this is our account object. Now there is a self lookup relationship. That's why it is showing this arrow here. But if I choose contact, you will see the relationship. So there is a relationship. This is a standard arrow, like a representation, graphical representation, where there is a one to many relationship. So one account can have multiple contacts, right? So you can imagine account as a company, right? For example, BMW, and there are number of employees, so those could become the contacts, right? So you can imagine that, and all the fields are there, right? So this is just another way to have a look on your structure or your database. Okay. Okay, now we've covered objects, fields. Okay, let's create one custom object, and then we will see what types of uh, data types of fields are available. Okay, so you need to again go to the object manager, click on create a custom object. So I'll create one student object. It will ask you for the plural label of it, so just add s to it, and the object name, the student. Again, this is an object name. That means it's an API name. So once the object is created, you will see double underscore c has been appended to it. Okay. Okay, keep it as it is. Then the record name will appear like this one. The data type is text for this. There are few features available. So once we click on this option, it will be available for the reports to generate report on this custom object. Then allow activities, that means whatever you do, like send an email, log a phone, right? So that will be tracked. Then the field history. So field, it will be available for that object to show the fields history. We will see that how to enable that field history. Then in chatter groups, click all of that, click on deployed. Then if you choose this option, then this object will be searchable from this global search. Okay. Oh, hmm. And printer again. This option gives us the ability to display notes and attachments as a default page layout. So here you will see that option. I'll quickly show you here. This notes and attachment. So you can attach any file or any type of file basically here, and upload files here. So it is available. Once you click on it, it's available. But if it is not done, you can go again to the page layout and search for those related list and enter it here. Okay. Now this launch new custom tab wizard after saving this. Okay, I'll not save it, click it, but we will see. See, this will basically gives ability to create a tab for it, right? Now we have created a students object, but how to show here it, right? We do not have tab for that, right? So what we need to do? Any idea what how we can do that, or like? we have not covered, but any guess what should happen like here? How I can pull that students here? How can I navigate to that newly created object? No? Okay, fine. I'll take that as a no. Uh, okay, so one way is to go via object manager, search for the student, right? Here, student custom object is there, last modified today's date, and it is deployed. That means it's ready to use. Okay, if I click on it, you will see all the options, all the attributes of it, what you can do with that object. Now here four standard fields, these are available by default whenever you create any object. Okay, so these are called as audit fields. So based on created by, you get to know who has created that field, right? It's a lookup to the user. Lookup, whenever you see lookup, that means there is a relation between this object and whatever you it is mentioned here like user. So the user you created in first session, right? So you created that user. So for this object, I am the creator, so it will show my name, right? Who created, that is a created by. Who modified it, that is last modified by. Who owned that record, right? That could be either group of users or a single user. Okay, and the one field which is text field is which is index, that means it is an auto number field. It is a student name, it is available by default in every object. Okay, now I want to see this object as a tab here in this service app. Okay, so what I need to do is again go to the setup. I'll open in next tab, and there is option, you can search for the tabs directly. Yes, so under user interface you will see tabs. Now here you can create a tab for that newly created object. So we have created a custom object, right? So you should go here, custom object tabs, click on new. Now it will show you the list of objects. Now we just have only one, so it is showing only one. Then the tab style, which is mandatory, so choose anything. For example, I've been choosing car. And the description, you can skip it, click on next, right? And again it is visible to all profiles. So uh, I can choose for which profiles it should be visible. Like we created a field and we given the access to only system admin, but for now I'm just giving uh, access to all the profiles, and I'm leaving it as it is. I'll click on the next button. Yeah, so here the app name is service, right? So here these custom apps are like all the apps are available here. The test app that we created in first session, it is also available here. So for now I'll just remove access or like visibility from all the apps, and I'll just give it to the test app one. Okay, and I'll just save it, and let's see what happens, right? So the custom tab has been created for that. You can see it under custom object tabs. Tab has been created. Now I'll just refresh this page. It's a service app, so it's not visible here even if the tab has been created. So I'll go to the app that I created and given access to the test app one, right? So I'll click on here. Yeah, can see the students tab, right? This is the way you can create an object, custom object, and create a tab for it. That's how the users will be able to access a tab graphically, right? In the backend via code or via query it's accessible, but from the front end it should be visible. So this is important step. Now I'll click on the new. So this will gives an option to create a new record. This form appeared. This this field is mandatory and it's available by default. So I'll just enter student's name as Shashikant for now. Okay, and the owner by default appears who is entering this data, the logged in user, right? Yeah, that's it. So the record has been created. right? So this is a text field. That's it. We only have four fields. That's the created by, who created, date and time, last modified, date and time, and the owner of this record. It could be user or the group of users. We will see that how to create a group and assign it to any group or queue, for example. Then the related lists, right? So we chose an option to uh, take notes and attachments as a related list by default when creating an object. So that is appearing. Then we chose an option activity history, right? So once you click on it, it shows here this activity tab where you can view calendar, you can create a new task for that record. So this task one, for example, and the due date you can set a reminder for that. For example, I'll set it tomorrow's. The contact you can enter for that record, assigned to, we don't need this for now, we don't have that information, so I'll just skip it. Otherwise we'll have to create that all the information. Then the log a call. So once the call is logged, that will also be tracked here as a related list. Then you can send an email. So it will take by default the email if it is present on the record. So for that email address, the email will be sent out. So basically what will happen is once we do that, this all activity that you are doing on this record will be tracked. So that's why this activity tab is important. Okay. Any questions? Anything? Anyone? Because is going to be your assignment to create a data dictionary, create an object, create fields in it. Okay. Okay. So now uh, we'll go to the object manager and we will create few fields of different data types. Okay, go to the fields and relationships again. Click on new here. So these many data types are available for you to create a field. Okay, so first is auto number. So if I click on it, which is basically to track like auto generated number, I'll just give um, student number. Okay, so the first record is created once, it will be given a number one, and you can give a format like how you want to see it. The format, right? Students number, it will start with one. Okay, and description, help text, yeah, I'll keep it as it is. Click on next. Mm, okay, this is a visibility to all profiles, I'll keep it as it is, it's visible to all. There is only one layout of this object, that is student layout, which comes by default when you create any new object, but you can create multiple layouts as well. So the student number has been created. I'll go back to the record and let's see what is the difference there in the page. So here in only four fields, I'll refresh it. Student number is appearing, right? And this field is not editable, right? Because it's auto number. So whenever I create a new field, sorry, new record, it should appear again. Mm, so student number is still uneditable, not editable. Click on save. See, it started to appear. So it, once we generated that field, created that field, it considering that field as an auto number, and the count we have like a starting point, starting number we given as one, and this was the format we specified. Like if we specified or not given zeros and just specified s hyphen uh, and then the brackets, the curly brackets, then it would have been like s hyphen 1. Okay, this is the way you can choose your format. you want to see. And once you are keep creating multiple records, it will keep increasing and it will be always uneditable. Okay, let's create another field. We have seen auto number. Then this is the formula field with you can access multiple fields of the same record or the related records, and some generate some or do some calculations, and maybe it's arithmetic or string concatenation or anything, right? And get some information from related objects and display here. We will see that in detail, but this is just for your info that this is the type of formula field which gives you ability of get the information from different objects. Then there are lookup relationships. This is basically to create a relationship between two types of objects. You can create with custom, between two custom objects, or between a custom object or a standard object, or between two standard objects. Okay, and this is like a primary key and a foreign key relationships. So and there is one more, that is a master detail relationships. That means this gives us the ability to generate a parent child relationship. So master is basically parent and the detail is basically a child. Okay, this is the way with this data type you can create master detail relationship, that means parent. External lookup, we will see that in detail in later sessions. Then checkbox, it simply as it name says, the checkbox will appear on the screen. Then the currency, where you will enter the amount, a dollar or any other currency you can use. The date field, date time field. So I'll choose date. So let's create a field with birth date for the student. Okay. Okay. The field has been created. I'm not going to the save again because we want to create multiple fields. Okay. The date time, it is similar to date, but it additionally will show time as well, like here. This is a date time field. This is how the info will look like. Then email, let's choose this one. Save and new. Okay. Then there is a geolocation. That means you can enter the x-axis, y-axis information there. Okay. Then there is a number. It's simply uh, simple number, right? Integer field. Then there is a percentage. You can enter data in percentage. Then there is a phone, right? So I'll choose one number field for now, and we will give that name as a roll number. So the length is not that much, so make it as 8. The decimal places we don't need. We don't have. Okay, let's make it required field. Okay, click on next. Next, save and new. Okay, what else we need is phone, student's phone number. Okay, okay, that's it. I think that is enough. Okay, so you can see like double underscore c has been appended, and the data type is it is showing, right? This number field at 8 and 0. The index fields are only the one that is available by default. Now, if I go here, if I refresh this page, you will see multiple fields on the layout. Yeah. Okay. If I click here, edit, or here, it's same. So for now, I'll just to show, click on edit, form appeared. Right? Did you notice the difference? Like if I click here, it is showing a pop-up, right? But if I click here, it is shown in the same page. So it's easy, like quicker, right? That's the difference. For now, I'll enter the date, for example, 96 June 90, email address gmail.com. So the check is done by the email check, address check is done by default Salesforce, so we don't have to worry about that. That's why we have chosen the type of the field, right? Then 001, the phone number is, that's it. Okay, if I click on save, yeah, it's simple. So the record has been created with all this information, right? So any questions in this, like creating a field in data types or anything? Anyone? You should have some questions. That's I'm expecting. No questions?
Is there other way also to create all these fields and objects other than UI, admin UI? You showed workbench, right? So is there a
Yeah. So there is a way. So if you go to the object manager, you will see custom object from spreadsheet, right? So this basically gives you the ability to enter the data in Excel sheet. Okay. For now, let it be as it is. I don't want to enter or show that for now. This could be in your assignment, but yeah, but there is a way. There is also a tool available which is data loader. Okay, with that it gives you the ability to import data or insert data or update data or delete data. For example, you want to delete 10,000 records from which you don't want, right? So, or maybe some logging information you want to delete. So you can go there, write a query, extract that information and delete it. Or you want to insert some dummy data, you can also do that. Salesforce gives that tool, right? You just need to install
So
it and use it.
yeah, Shashikan, sorry to interrupt. So Malay, to answer your question, right? So one of the way to create the object and field is here on this UI, and which is the most preferred way because admins need a UI, right? From developer prospect, if you want to create object, there are something called metadata APIs as well, but that is too critical, right? How you create. Then we have some tools called VS Code, Visual Studio Code. From there as well, you can create a new object and deploy it. Okay, so that those are little tricky things. The most easiest way to do this is using this object manager. There is another way to create an object from schema builder as well. So you can just explore on that. Try going to schema builder and try if you can create a new object. Okay. So here we need to understand what are the way, and the most preferred way is here. Then in terms of like creating object and giving access, we have already seen like okay how you can create object, how you can give access to the object and its fields. Another important thing was like the checkboxes that we checked when we created object. So there was something called allow reports, allow search, right? That is important because if you don't enable those boxes, few of the features will not be available with that object and the data. Okay, so carefully look at the check boxes or the things whenever you will be creating a new object. Of course, I will be giving you one data dictionary which you can refer and start creating object and fields. But there are few things that you need to follow. How you are going to give the names? What are the naming convention for field label and field API type? Okay, so API name is very important. If you see here, right, the field labels you can give as per the business requirement, but API name, that is the next column, field name, right, which is having appended with underscore c for custom fields. That is the thing which developers will refer from any other places, right? It can be the workbench or your developer console or your code base wherever you are writing a code. These are the API names that we refer. Okay, any other question?
There was a checkbox while creating object.
Mhm.
I guess enable licensing. What is it used for? We didn't check that, but
Okay, enable licensing. Yeah, we will check in the next session around that, but that is not required here. That is something to deal with the licensing, but it's not really required to know here.
okay.
As a developer, you don't need that. Yeah. Anyone else has any other observation, questions,
Sorry to
queries?
interrupt,
Yeah.
but while creating the object, there was a checkbox named unique. So in the unique,
Mhm.
can its value be null also?
So it depends. Unique means it has to be unique, right? If there are two, so that is not with the object. That was with the field, right? Whenever we are creating a
Yeah.
field. So what we mean by unique is it should have unique values, right? If you put null, that depends whether it is nullable or not. So we will see like how to see that property. And this type of weird things you can try out whenever you are creating a record. Try, don't enter anything in the unique values, right? Whether it accept if you have two different values, two records
Oh,
with null value, right?
oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, Shashikant.
Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. So, as we know, there are certain limits to everything in the Salesforce, right? As it is on shared environment. So, this as on this developer org, there are certain limits as per the license, right? So here you can see the how many active lookup filters are there, right? What is the usage? What is the limit? And what is the percentage of it is used? So, for example, the custom fields, right? You can create only maximum 500 records, 500 fields, out of which I have used already five, right? And this is the 1%, so it is showing that information. So the relationships, the rules, there are different types of sharing rules with which you can share this record with other persons or other teams, right? So for that we basically create a rule, and using that rule information is shared between a manager or a salesperson or someone else. So this information is logged under these two, right? There is a workflow rule. This is a one of the customization rule. Like this, all this information is here. Once if you reach that limit and you get some error, then you must be looking at this kind of limitations if there is certain kind of limitation or not, right? So yeah, please have in mind that this could be your first point to look into. Okay. uh yeah, so Abhay, do we have to cover the layouts today?
No, no, not layouts. So what is in your agenda that we need to cover?
I think then the custom object, so the custom metadata object is remaining.
Okay. So anyone has any issues with timing if it gets little extended today, or you have to go for office? So I think this is fine, and then we can cover the custom object, Shashikant, now.
Okay. Okay. So uh this is object manager, right? Here we covered all of that. There is one more way you can store the information, like we are storing here, right? But this information is basically used for different purpose. But we will show what it is first, and then we will cover the differences. So search for the custom metadata. Okay. Custom metadata types. Okay, it is under the custom code. Again, this is also an object where you can create a custom object where you will create a field and store the information. But there are certain limitations again, as this is not a standard object like we are showing here, like in the app, we are creating a tab. So that tab would not be created here. That would be used basically for some configuration part. Like for example, you want to access some predefined values in your code, right? Or any other formula fields or somewhere on the websites. So in that case, this information, whatever you will store here, will be used, and it will have certain MBs of limit for that. So I'll show you by creating one custom metadata, and then we will see the difference. So I'll use test metadata one, plural label once. Okay, the object name, description, visibility, we don't have to go in that for now. Yeah, so see, the look and feel is similar, right? Like any other object. I'll open the student app, sorry, the record, and here you will see the fields and relationships, right? The standard fields by default available. You can create custom fields. Don't look at these validation rules and page layouts for now, and just pay attention here. So the object information of the student object, right? This, like API name, singular, plural labels, and all. So it is also same here, right? Visibility and all this information. Now the difference is between the API name. Here you will see double underscore MDT. That means it differentiates like from the custom object. For custom objects, the API name is double underscore C, right? That is one difference. Then the custom fields. So you can create custom fields, but there is a certain limitation. Like you cannot create all types of object fields here. Click here, then there are many, right? The text area encrypted, which is not here, right? Then the pick list is here, which we forgot to cover, but we'll see that. Then the pick list multi select is not available there, right? So then the relationship, right? The lookup relationship, master detail, external, all that are not available here. Okay, so for now I'll just create one sample text field, and the name would be service name. Length is 50. Click on next. Save. Okay, once this is created, the as we do not create any tab for that, right? So we cannot pull that tab here in the UI and cannot click on new or something else and just create it, right? Then how to create it, right? That would be your question. It must be. But yeah, so there is a button which is manage. Click here. Yeah, the UI appeared. It's a kind of list view. You can change it. Click on new. Yeah, and this window will appear where you will enter the label like a test data one. Okay, and the service name is session one. Okay, save it. Yeah, the information is stored. Okay, so this is how you can create a custom metadata, add multiple fields, and store the information. This is the way, this is the only way you can enter the data. There are other ways, YVS code and all, but we will see that in later. Once you go ahead, it will be easy for you to understand. Yeah, so for now, what is the major difference between standard custom object or the custom metadata is, like in migration, for example, you are doing a deployment from the lower environments to the higher environments, right? As this information is being used for some configurations of any services or any data that is being used frequently, and you don't want to store in the code as a hard coded value. So what you can do, you can enter data here. Yeah, and use this data in your code via queries or any other inbuilt functions of the Apex classes, or like in the classes or some other by some other way. So while deployment or while migration, you cannot move all this data, like data stored in the objects, like it's a record, right, in the database. So on production, the data would be different, right, which is real time, and this is test data, right? So what you can do, you can move all this information stored here directly to the production, like higher environments, because it's your configuration, right? It is not an actual data, right? You're getting my point,
No, no, no. I
or is
think
it
this
big?
point it will be very difficult to digest. So many things
Maybe.
you covered in a minute, right? So just ignore this.
uh,
Just remember this is another type of object that you can create. When it comes to usage of it, we will come cover that point. But for now, just remember there is a standard object. Then we have seen a custom object. There are various other objects as well, right? One of those is custom metadata. So this is kind of, say, if you can imagine, there is a, uh, stock exchange, right? And where we need to store the exchange values, because exchange values or the currency conversion rate, it changes every day, right? And if you want to store that exchange rates in some object, it will be highly like 100 200 records, not more than that, right? If you are offering a service in, say, 10 countries, you have 10 exchange currency rates. So in that scenario, for only 10 records, creating a object is not a good option. So in that case, we go for custom metadata. But this is just to remember. Don't get confused by this, or don't try to explore it at this point in time. You can limit yourself to just standard object and custom object as of now.
okay. Mm, okay, there is one point remaining that I'll cover quickly, is a pick list value. Okay, on the student, let's create one pick list value. Okay, pick list field. I'll click on next. um, okay. Okay, so this is a kind of drop down field, so where you can enter multiple values. So for this type field, I'm entering a type of student. So there could be multiple, but I'll just enter two. That is a regular and external. Okay. Yeah, rest all fields we know. Like there is option like use global pick list value set. That means you can create one generic pick list, right? A list of values and store, and then you can directly use here in our while creating a pick list. But that would be more complex, so I'll skip it for now.
So,
Then
so
display
for
values
example, right?
alphabetically.
Just to give a example, suppose if you have 10 different objects, on each object you want to create or store the address, and in addresses you need a country, right? So if there is a common type of pick list values that you need across multiple object, what you can do, you can create a global value set and you can choose it from here. On every object you don't need to enter it manually, you can keep a one reference data and use it multiple places. That's where it is, we call it as a global. So that can be reused multiple places, you don't need to do that same amount of effort. Okay, got the
Yeah.
difference? Or any questions, anyone has any questions with global pick list versus the normal values we are entering? Okay, yeah.
No questions, right? Okay. uh yeah, so there is a checkbox, display values alphabetically. So if we click it, it will rearrange alphabetically. If we click this option, use first value as default value, then regular would become a default value for that record whenever creating a new record. And this will restrict, like we cannot enter any new value if you choose this option, or like if the data is entered from the back end, then you can enter any information that you want. So for now I'll keep it as it is. Click on next. Next, save. Yeah, type has been created. Let's go to the page. Yeah, so the type is appeared here. I'll enter some value, external, right? So this is how it will look like. As we have not chosen the first value as a default value, none displayed. Click on regular, save it. Simple, right? Yeah, so that's it. That's how you can create a pick list. And there is one more. The similar like a pick list is multi-select pick list. So as the name explains, like you can choose multiple values in that pick list, right? Okay, I'll just pick list multi-select. Subjects. Okay, I'll choose, yeah. Okay, how many lines you want to see in that field is 4. So I can increase it to 5, for example. Keep it as it is. Click on next. Save. Yeah, subject appearing here. Click on edit. Okay, why it's not available? Let's see. Um, so you can choose multiple values at the same time. Click on chosen. That's it. Yeah, and this is how it will look like, separated by semicolon. So yeah, any questions in this? Any doubts, any observations, or any other thoughts? No? Okay. Um, okay. I think Abhay, we have covered all the points.
Okay, okay.
You have any other point, topic?
No, nothing. I think you can share the Reddit link and the reference link where they can find related details about object, where they can read and explore in detail.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll quickly show here. There is a link. Can you see my screen? It's in different window, so
No, 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 not visible.
no? Okay, just a minute. So this is a Salesforce standard documentation. Okay. We will share this information, these links. So it's overview of Salesforce objects and fields. So whenever you want to learn something, you should refer to these authentic documentation. You will get all the information like what are the primitive data types or the field types, API field properties, what are the required fields, system fields, and all that. The custom objects, custom fields, all the information is here. Okay, there could be additional information that we have not covered right now because it would be too much for you for now in the beginning. So yeah, so this is one of the link. I'll share one more, which is a trailhead link. You should also go through that and see a trailhead should be covered. So it is a good thing to go for the learning.
So meanwhile, I just have a question, right? Anyone has done any of the trails? Have you started doing the trailheads?
That you shared na
Mm-hmm.
on first day.
Correct.
That only we completed.
Completed, no? Great, great.
Yeah.
So is it like only now you completed, right? So you must be seeing that number of badges completed three. So for others, have you completed any of the trails? Komal, Malay, have you started with the trails and completed those?
Yes,
Good,
I've
good.
got some badges.
Mhm. Okay. I will share more trails as well, right? Because we have decided like every day if you can complete two trails and keep that habit, it will help us in going going forward. So if we go down the line 1 month, 2 months, you will be having read so many things. At least you will have some context around that. Okay. Yeah, Shashikant, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's it, Abhay. I think we have covered all the points, and these are the two links we will share for them to go through. And also the assignments I'll share over WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. And for tomorrow and day after tomorrow, like what is your availability? So we can have session on tomorrow, or you want session on Sunday?
Yeah, we can take on Sunday.
Malay, how about you?
In morning, I'm not available. I've got production release.
Okay.
So,
So maybe if we take session tomorrow or day after tomorrow in the afternoon time, that will be good for all, right?
yes,
Okay. Okay. I'll
it works
accordingly
for me.
plan. Okay. Okay. Fine. I'll plan it accordingly then. Okay, yeah. If there are any questions, queries, feel free to post it on the WhatsApp group, right? We'll see to the sessions next, and I'll share those links which Shashikan just showed on the WhatsApp, so you can complete that trailhead and start following that documentation. For if you want to take a deep dive and understand each and every minute things, you can always refer to that documentation. Okay, okay, yeah. Thank you and happy Friday. We'll see you in the next session.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.